It's time now for my weekend news review, where we discuss some of the biggest stories of the week. CEO of M2 Communities, Mitch Roschelle, is here with us again. Great to see you, Mitch. So let's start with this. Jay Jones' violent texts appear to have swung the Virginia Attorney General's race in favor of Republican Jason Miyares. Polling from this week shows Miyares has caught and even passed Jones among likely voters, but with over 400,000 ballots already cast for the race, may be too close to call. First of all, the texts are kind of amazing.
They're stunning. Could you imagine being the chief law enforcement officer of a state, a city, a country, and putting a text where you said that the person should get 2 bullets to the head, but not just the other person, including the wife and children? In this day and age of gun violence being a leading issue in a lot of places in the country, and especially in the wake of the assassination of Charlie Kirk, how could you use such language? Obviously, it was 2 years ago, but
still,
how could you ever say such a thing?
Yeah, exactly. This is not a common problem, I don't think. Most normal people don't sort of have ideations about something like this. The other thing that really frustrates me about this is the idea that because of this absurdly long early voting in Virginia, over 400,000 Virginians have already cast their ballots in early voting. So and I know some of them wish that they could change their votes if they could, who have already voted.
Well, maybe they'll just vote again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're Democrats after all. Yeah. But it's really frustrating because, and I think this is why Democrats like so much early voting, is because the less voters know before they cast their ballots, the better Democrats do.
Well, think about it. With all this early voting, let's say you have a story that's fake. In this case, it's not. And then it's subsequently debunked. You could have tens of thousands of voters who went in based upon that story, only to find out that it was deep. I think you vote on election day, you bring your ID, and that's
the point of the campaign, is that everybody knows everything. All right, on to this next thing. Shocking revelations unearthed this week show that the Biden administration's FBI spied on sitting members of Congress back in 2023, but only Republican members, of course. You know, we talk a lot about like constitutional crises and existential threats. I can't think of a bigger constitutional crisis than the executive branch sending the FBI to spy on the legislative branch, but only your political enemies in the legislative branch.
Well, 2 things. Last week, when you had the Senate Judiciary Committee meeting, that came up when Pan Bondi was, and I just looked at the camera and Adam Schiff looking there with that smug look on his face, as if, of course, it's okay to spy on them. Just don't spy on me. But it really reminds me of when Donald Trump was on 60 Minutes and Leslie Stahl was interviewing him, and he said, "Of course, the Obama administration spied on my campaign." She goes, "You know that's not true," and he goes, "It's true." It's amazing the gaslighting that goes on, where just ignore that. It's okay.
Total
for us,
gaslighting.
But don't do it yourself.
Total gaslighting. All right, perhaps my favorite story of the week: Beyond Meat's collapse. The lab-grown meat company, once valued at a staggering $7.8 billion, is now trading at pennies on the dollar, even as the price of real beef soars. So does this mean that I don't have to worry about Franken meats getting into my diet now?
No, you don't have to worry, and they shouldn't have been in your diet in the first place. I sent the producers pictures of my dinner last night. It may not have made it up to the screen, but we had 8 steaks, and you know what they didn't have in them? Methyl cellulose. I literally went through the ingredients of what's in Beyond Meat. There were things I couldn't pronounce. I knew I could get methyl cellulose out on the air, but some of the other ones look like German words. They're that long. Like, the crazy thing is how unhealthy that healthy food is. And in fact, I believe in Europe, they won't allow those artificial meats to actually use the word meat in advertising. So I'm just hoping that almond milk in this country will no longer be called milk.
Lab-grown meat is not grass-fed.
No, no.
Mitch Roschelle, thank you so much for joining us.
You bet.
Don't go anywhere. Maria Bartiromo is next.